Hello everyone, welcome to Jigyasa. I'm your educator Devashmita. So in this particular video, you are going to learn about something that about the plant breeding, and the topic is about the plant introduction, and including the plant introduction, we are going to discuss about the NBPGR. So this is my if you anyone want to contact me for my live classes and recorded classes also, so you can contact with me in this particular mail id, that is the debasmita 1994 at the rate gmail.com. And this is my logo of my website, that is the Dukus Biology. And here is an announcement that the new batches are going on for the BSc and MSc students for the class of ecology and evolution and the plants breeding and the crop improvements. So if anyone interested for that, for my live classes and for watching the demo video, you can download the Teachmeet app and view my profile. That's you can see the recorded video also and my live classes schedule also. So this is my website, that is Dukus Biology in the Teachmeet app. So I am taking classes, live classes in that particular website. So if anyone interested for this, then you can contact with me. So let's proceed about the topic, that is the plant breeding and the plant introductions. So let's start about this classes or this lecture. So this is all about me and about shortly, just about myself. So that is you can watch here, and here is I just given my contact number, my mail id, and you can just post that video, and you can save the contact number and my mail id also, and you can contact with me also. So let's proceed about the today's topic, that is the plant introduction. So in this particular classes, in this particular lecture, we are going to learn about what is plant introduction and what is the basically the what is the different types of the plant introduction and the plant introduction agency that are involved in case of the India. And finally we just talk about the NBPGRs. So let's start about what is plant introduction. Okay. So first things that the what is the definition of the plant introduction? Do you have any idea about the plant introduction? So let's start about plant introduction. Something like that, the plant introduction should be introduction should be this is the main the plant introduction consists of taking a genotype or a group of genotype of the plants into the new environments where they have not been grown before. Anything that whenever we go any sometimes we go into the new places also, and it takes some times for adjustment that particular environment for us. Likewise plant also, whenever we cultivated, whenever we grown in a new environment of a plant species, then it took some times. Okay. So plant introduction means the plant introduction consists of the taking a genotype or a group of genotype of the plants into the new environment where they have not been grown before. So what it say that plant introduction means any crop plants or any genotype of a plants or a group of genotypes of the plants that cultivated or that grown into a totally new environment which have been not grown in that particular environment before. This condition is known as the, or this type of situation is we called as the plant introduction. Okay. So this plant introduction may involves the new varieties. It may be something like that, the totally new varieties of a crop already grown in the area, a wild relative of the crop species, or a totally new crop species for that particular area. So what it says that it may be a totally new variety of any crop in that particular region, and something like that the wild variety of the crop species, or it may be totally new crop species of that particular area. Okay, so plant introduction, and what it says that something like that whenever we see about some examples like just to zoom it, uh, examples like whenever we see in our different region of our country, or in case our India, actually the maize or wheats are particularly grown in case of the Punjab, Haryana, in that particular region. But nowadays we cultivated rice also in that particular cases. Rice is totally introduction, plant introduction, or totally new for that particular region. That's why this is called as rice in case of the Punjab, Haryana, we just called as the plant introduction. The plant introduction actually and another example is the in case of the wheat also grown before in case of the Punjab, Haryana sides, but nowadays we can cultivate wheat also in our region like the Odisha and West Bengal and all these areas also. So actually it may be the plant introduction may be actually inside the country, it may be inside the country or outside of the country. Okay, so plant introduction, it may be classified into two categories, that is one is primary, another one is the secondary. So first things that the primary introduction, what is primary introduction and what is secondary introduction. So primary introduction, it said that when the introduced variety is well suited to the new environment, it is released for the commercial cultivation without any alternation in the original genotype, and this constitutes the primary introduction. What is said that the primary introduction, when we introduced any variety of the any propagules or any seeds of a crop species or any variety of the crops, okay, then we cultivated in another region, or we introduced in an introduction, it means ki particular newly for that particular environment. Okay, so whenever we grown there, whenever we cultivated in that particular introduced variety of that particular crops, then if it is suitable for that particular crop plants and it is released for the commercial cultivation without any external methods, by using any external methods or any technical or by using any technical equipments or any technical methods, then we just called as the primary introduction. Got it? So normally we just called the primary introduction means when the introduced variety is well suited to that new environment, then it is released for the commercial purposes, then we called as the primary introduction. Okay, so then comes to, for example, some example here is given, that is the introduction of semi dwarf wheat varieties like the Triticum aestivum. This is the semi dwarf variety of the wheat, and like Sonora 64 and the Lerma Rojo. These are two semi dwarf wheat varieties, and Lerma Rojo and Sonora 64. And semi dwarf varieties of the rice, that is the Taichung native, that is the IR8 and IR28. These two are the semi dwarf condition of the rice varieties, and these are directly we cultivated in the new areas and grown as a commercial purposes, and that's why this is called as the primary introduction. Okay, so is it clear about the primary introduction? So let's comes to then secondary introduction. Okay, then comes to secondary introduction. What secondary introduction says that So primary introduction means we directly cultivated and directly used as the commercial purposes. Okay, whenever we see about the secondary introduction actually says that secondary introduction, it means the introduced variety may be subjected to selection to isolate a superior variety. Then alternatively uh, it may be some hybridized with local varieties to transfer one or few characters from this variety to the local varieties, and this process is known as the secondary introduction. Whenever we talk about the secondary introduction, what it says that the secondary introduction, it means first what we do that first we introduced some varieties, okay, then we subjected to selection. First introduction takes place, first introduced the varieties. After all, we just select that selection. After all, we do some selection, that is this one is superior and this one is inferior, that type of selection. Then after the selection we just isolate. After selection we isolate for what? Isolate for a superior variety, that this one is the higher variety, or this crops variety, or this hybrid seed have a particular the high yielding capacity, और इट्स have सपोज एक्स इज ए क्रॉप प्लांट्स और कोई भी क्रॉप प्लांट्स हो, तो उसमें हम क्या कर सकते हैं ना, दिस वन इज द सुपेरियर वन एंड दिस इज have the higher yielding capacity and tolerance capacity and all those things. Okay, so according to this characteristic feature we just isolate them. Okay, after the isolation what we have done that it may be then after the isolation we just hybridize with local varieties. Hybridize with local varieties. For what? With local varieties for some characters or local variety to transfer one or few characters from this variety to the local varieties. Okay, so secondary introduction is quite complex. That is first things, that is when we introduce some varieties. After all we selection, then after the selection we just isolate that particular superior varieties, and after the isolation we just hybridize with some local varieties for the transfer one or few characters to the local varieties. Then we just cultivate and then we use as a commercial purposes. Okay, so and total this process is known as the secondary introduction. So what is the difference between the primary introduction and the secondary introduction? Clear about that? Because primary introduction means we just introduce a variety directly use as a commercial purposes, but whenever we talk about the secondary introduction we cannot directly use as a commercial purposes. We take some methods or take some processes that for the commercial purposes. Likewise, first introduction, then selection, then isolate some, then I hybridize with the local varieties to transfer some characteristics to the local varieties. Okay, so these are the primary introduction and secondary introduction. So what are the example of the secondary introduction? Like secondary introduction, here is one example, like the Kalyan, Sona and Sonalika wheat varieties. Two wheat varieties like Kalyan, Sona and the Sonalika, they are selected from the materials introduced from the CIMMYT Mexico. What is the full form of the CIMMYT? CIMMYT. This is the full form of CIMMYT, that is the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center. Okay, this is the full form of CIMMYT. Okay, so you can see here, that is the International Maize and Wheat Improvement Center. We just simply call as the CIMMYT, which is situated as the 1943 and its headquarters is at Mexico. Okay, So here is one thing, that is the semi-dwarf wheat and the rice varieties, and developed through the hybridization with the introduced variety. So these are the two varieties, semi-dwarf varieties of the wheat, and these Kalyan Sona and the Sonalika. These are developed through hybridization technique with the local varieties and introduced varieties. They are mixed up or hybridized. Then after all, the Kalyan Sona and the Sonalika are produced. Okay, and we just use as a secondary introduction, or we use as a commercial purposes. So I think all of you clear about the primary introduction and the secondary introduction. Let's comes to the some examples, like some likewise. First things, one the in when we see about our earlier age or earlier time, that there is also found that some introduced variety also comes to in our India. Okay, but some of them are now restricted to in case of our India. So here is one thing, that is first introduced variety comes from the Kew Botanical Garden. The Kew Botanical Garden, which is situated as the England, and this is otherwise called as the largest botanical garden in the world. So here is you can see that largest botanical garden Kew, and the first introduced variety, the first introduced varieties are derived from this Kew Botanical Garden, um, like quinine and the rubber trees. Okay, quinine and the rubber trees, these two varieties, or these two trees are introduced from the Kew Botanical Garden, England, to the India, and first cultivated in the 19th century in our botanic into India, and cultivated in the botanic garden, and botanical garden which is situated at the Calcutta. Okay, so this is the main points of that this slide. Then comes to some plant introduction agency in case of the India. Okay, so what are the main agency that are responsible for plant introduction in case of the India? Let's see about the what are they. First things, that is the IARI. What is the full form of IARI? That is Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Okay, its headquarter is situated at the New Delhi, and it is situated or initiated our first time, that is in 1946. Okay, and this is a centralized plant introduction agency. But this agency began a plant introduction scheme in the division of the botany, and was funded by ICAR. So its funded agency is the ICAR, but the agency is the IARI. Okay, let's come then comes to second point, that is in 1956 IARI then converted into the NBPGR. Okay, so then further it this IARI then further renamed as the NBPGR. NBPGR, what is the full form of NBPGR? That is the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. Okay, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. So what it actually do, that the NBPGR actually, what is the function of the NBPGR? Like the bureau is the bureau is responsible for the introduction and maintenance of the germplasm of agricultural and the horticultural plants. What it does, that what is the function of the NBPGR? That is, the bureau is it is responsible for first things the introduction. It is responsible for the introduction and mainly for the maintenance of the germplasm. Anything that is germplasm, like it may be some seeds, it may be some propagules, it may be some leaves also. So anything that could be the germplasm comes under the germplasm, and NBPGR is responsible for introduction and the maintenance of the agricultural and the horticultural plants. Okay, clear about that? So let's comes to next, that is in addition to the National Bureau of the Plant Genetic Resources, that is NBPGR, There are some other agency for the plant introduction, like was the Forest Research Institute, that is we called as the FRI. And comes to the next slide, that is comes to next slide, that is that is the FRI, the Forest Research Institute, which is situated at the Dehradun, which is situated as the Dehradun. And what is its function, likewise that its function should be what? Because Forest Research Institute, it means it's do some research institute like the forest plants. Okay, it is responsible for the some forest plants. Okay, so this is the as the plant introduction organization, which looks after the introduction, maintenance and testing of the germplasm of the forest tree. Okay, this the FRI is responsible for the maintenance, introduction and the testing of germplasm of forest tree. Clear? Then comes to the Botanical Survey of India. Okay, so Botanical Survey of India, we just called as the BSI. Okay, Botanical Survey of India, we just called as the BSI. So what it say that BSI, so BSI also it testing and responsible for what? Now responsible for introduction, testing and maintenance of the plant material for botanical and the medicinal interested. Okay, medicinal purpose and botanical purpose में जो plants use होते हैं उसको वो क्या करता है ना, maintain करके रखता है, introduce करके रखता है और उसको conserve करके रखता है. Okay, so then comes to this NBPGR. NBPGR or the Central Research Institute for various crops, which is NBPGR first functional, it's function for only for as a medicinal and agricultural and the horticultural purposes, but nowadays it took over all over took responsible for all over the crops, various types of the crops like tea, coffee, sugar cane, potato, tobacco, rice, etc. And what it takes actually, that is the first it introduce some that crop varieties, anything, it may be tea, coffee, rice, maize, etc. Okay, introduce. After that he takes he first things he introduced, and that organization, that is the NBPGR, first introduced that particular variety. After after that organization tested, then maintain the plant material for their interest. Okay, then comes to, but their activities are coordinated by the NBPGR, and which has the ultimate responsible for the introduction activities. And some plant all the introduction in India must be routed through the NBPGR New Delhi. जितना भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है इंडिया में, वो सारा किसके अंडर में आते हैं? एनबीपीजीआर. जब तक एनबीपीजीआर कोई मतलब कि उसका उसको कोई भी परमिशन नहीं देता है, तब तक बाकी जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उसको वो लोग ट्रांसफर नहीं कर सकते हैं. ओके, so let's comes to know about what is NBPGR. Okay, so what are the function, what is the types, what is the organization center. Okay, so let's comes to know about the NBPGR. Okay, what is NBPGR? So NBPGR means its full form is the National Bureau of the Plant. NBPGR, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources. Okay, the bureau has its headquarters at IARI, that is the Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, and it has 4 substations for the testing the introduced plant materials, because all over in India all the introduced variety cannot be tested in case of the New Delhi also. Okay, that's why it has the 4 substation all over in case of the India. Okay, this substation represents the testing and testing the introduced plant material, and the substation represent the various climatic zones of the India. So this substation represents the various climatic zones of the India also. Then it have the four substation, that is the four substation. One is Simla, it has four substation. One is Simla, another one is the Jodhpur, another one is the Jodhpur, which is situated as the Rajasthan, and third one is the Kanyakumari, 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 and fourth one is the Akola. Fourth one is the Akola, which is situated as the Maharashtra. Okay, so these are the four main regions or the four safe station which is represented as the various climatic zones of the India. Okay, so Simla is situated in case of the Himachal Pradesh, and it represents the temperate zone. It represents the temperate zone. Okay, Simla is represent the temperate zone, and second one is the Jodhpur, Rajasthan, which is represent as the arid zone. Arid zone means where the water scarcity level is high and the availability of water is very low. In that particular area, we just call as the arid zone. So Jodhpur, Rajasthan is mainly represent as the arid zone. Okay. Then comes to third, that is the Kanyakumari, which is situated at the Tamil Nadu, and it represents the tropical zones. Okay. So then comes to the Akola, which is situated as the Maharashtra, and it represents the mixed climatic zone. So it has the mixed climatic zone. Okay, Akola, and it was recently shifted from the Amravati. So Akola, in case of the fourth arid zone, which is represent the mixed climatic zone. First, it was situated at Amravati, but nowadays it is shifted to Akola, Maharashtra. Okay, there is some addition of new substations for recently it has been established established at the Shillong, and for the northeast region of India, and for the collection of the germplasm from the northeast India. This part of the country has a large genetic variability for the several crop species, for rice, that is for example rice, citrus, maize, all those things. That's why there is the in addition to the Shillong, it has the 5 climatic zones of India, NBPGR hub. Okay, so then comes to the function of the NBPGR. Okay, so what is the function of the NBPGR? What its function? The Bureau functions as the central agency for the export and introduction of the germplasm of economic importance. Its main function is the first things, it has responsible for the which or which crop species it may be input or the introduction varieties, or it may be export to the out of the country. Okay, and which is mainly responsible for the economic importance. So import and export of introduction of germplasm of economic importance. Then the Bureau is assisted in its activities by the various central research institute, research institute of the ICAR, and the activities of the Bureau are summarized below. So these are 10 main points of NBPGRs or the function of NBPGRs. Let's see about the what are they. Okay, first things, that is it introduced the required germplasm from its counterparts or the other agency in other countries. What did it do? That first introduce whenever we see about whenever some breeders or some scientists or some researchers, if they have required some varieties or some crop varieties or some germplasm, then they inform to the NBPGR, and NBPGR introduced that particular variety or that particular germplasm from its counterpart. If if it is available in the NBPGR, then he gives then the organization gives to the scientist or anyone who demanded for that. But if there is not availability, then it brings some other agency of the other countries. Okay, Then comes to second, that is the it arranges exploration inside and outside of the country to collect the valuable germplasm. First things, it means introduced from either it may be inside the country or outside the country. Second one is it arranges the exploration inside and outside of the country to collect the valuable germplasm. Which is more valuable germplasm? Then as according to their valuability valuable or its value of that particular germplasm, it is just organize or it's arrange that particular germplasm. Okay, so this is mainly it may be inside or outside of the country. Okay, then comes to the third, that is it is responsible for the inspection and the quarantine of all the introduced plant material. Then the third one is after the introduction of that particular varieties, what it do, what it do that it go for the inspection, because it may be something, sometimes it may be some damages, or sometimes it may be some insect or the pesticides, all these things. So it may be a good, or it may be a bad, or it may be a good health conditions of that particular seed or particular germplasm. So these are for the inspection, going for the inspection for that particular cases also. Then after all, after the inspection, it comes to the quarantine of all the introduced plant materials. Okay, then a testing, multiplication and the maintenance of the germplasm obtained through the various sources. After the quarantine, after inspection, they comes to the quarantine or the separate or isolate. Okay, then after the isolation or the quarantine, the NBPGR testing that particular germplasm, and then multiplication. If the testing is okay, it means the germplasm is good for the cultivation or good for the further process, then it multiplication and the maintenance of the germplasm obtained through the various sources. Okay, this may be done by the bureau itself at one of its substation, or by one of the concerned central institute of the ICAR. It may be the testing or multiplication and maintenance, it can be done by either some substation of 5 substations presented in case of the India. Any of substation can be done the testing or multiplication and maintenance, or it may be some central institute of the ICAR. Okay, then fifth one is that to supply on request germplasm to various scientists or the institute or some breeders. Okay, so after the testing and multiplication and maintenance, the NBPGR supply on request, because some breeders or some scientists have already ordered for that particular germplasm. After bringing testing, multiplication and maintenance, it is supplied on a request to various scientists or some institute or some breeders. Okay, so the germplasm may be supplied the ex stock or may be procured from the outside in case it is not available in the country. If there is not available in case of NBPGR or inside the country, then the NBPGR is responsible for bringing that particular germplasm from outside of the country. Okay, then comes to maintenance of record of the plant name, variety name, propagating material, special characteristics, sources, date and other relevant information about the material received. Anything else whatever we do in our likewise, for example, whenever we collected some material for our lab or for the herbarium, for example, we just do some herbarium. Okay, so first things, what we do that first things we collect the material. After all, we just preserve the material, and name of the collection, place of the collection, date of the collection, okay, and serial number, all those things are a record in our herbarium sheets or herbarium chart. So these are there is some record, okay, maintenance of the records of the plant name and variety names and propagating materials, all about the source, dates, characteristics and other relevant information. It can be recorded by NBPGR, okay. Then comes to next, that is to supply the germplasm to its counterparts or other agency in the countries. Then next it's then supply the germplasm particular, then it may be other agencies or any other countries also, okay. Then comes to next, that is the to publish its exchange and the collection list. Whenever the NBPGR do that, any the list of that particular species, list of that particular germplasm collection, whatever inside the country or outside of the country, okay, the exchange between in either introduction or export of that particular germplasm. Every germplasm have a name or a record and or a publish a list of that particular cases, okay. Then introduction, newsletter containing such list is published by the Food and Agricultural Organization, that is the FAO. What is the full form of FAO? That is the Food and Agricultural Organization. It is from 1957 and irregular relevant, and all these data or all those data or this exchange and collection list are published where? In a Food and Agricultural Organization by newsletter, okay. And in case of the newsletter which is published by Food and Agricultural Organization, that is the FAO, okay. Then NBPGR has also published some list and is in the process of publishing some other catalog. So NBPGR also published some list, but all the list can be given by NBPGR to the FAO, and FAO FAO, that is the Food and Agricultural Organization, it can or it publish in their newsletter to all the data of the export or introduction variety of the germplasm, okay. So to set up the natural gene sanctuaries of the plants where the genetic resources are endangered. What do you mean by gene sanctuaries and genetic resources? It means it's have genetic resources. It means ki it's all the genetic level of all the genetic characteristics, okay. So which are endangered species? Whenever you study about the IUCN and the Red Data Book, in case of the ecology, you have already know about what is endangered species, what is extinct species, okay. So endangered species, it means ki it is going to be extinct in near future, okay. This is that's why this is called as the endangered species. So in that particular species or in that particular germplasm, what NBPGR do that, it set up a natural gene sanctuaries and it conserve that particular endangered species, okay. So then comes to last one, that is the improvement of certain plants like the medicinal and the aromatic plants. So these are some varieties or the some medicinal plants and the aromatic plants. It also develops some improvement by some improvement done by NBPGR of like medicinal plants, aromatic plants, all those things, okay. So I think uh, okay, I think all of you guys getting basic knowledge about what is plant introduction and what is NBPGR and what is the function of the NBPGR. These are the some 10 points, and what are the different substation of what is the various climatic zones of the India, which is represent as the different substation of NBPGR. So I think all of you getting some knowledge about NBPGR and the plant introduction. In the next class, we are going to learn about the what is the procedure for the plant introduction, and what is the merits and what is the demerits of the plant introduction. Okay. Okay, thank you.